Today we are going to learn how to knock fear out of your lives. Now, according to the Monster Motivator, fear is like a cancer if you ignore it. It'll spread and take over your life. Now, if you're asking yourself, how do I do that? And who's the Monster Motivator? Well, it is this man. Welcome, Dave Daley, to the show, the Monster Motivator.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, I want to hear all about this because, you know, whether we're talking about on our show fear contributing to people falling or fear contributing to not being the best person you can be, this really is the common denominator amongst all of that.
You know what? It's everything.
Yeah.
It's the epicenter. And, you know, you mentioned something that I'd love to touch on is, you know, fear of falling and a fear of other things, more intellectual, more in between the ears. And, you know, I always say that danger and fear are two different things. Danger is real. Right. But fear is just a myth. And that's what I want to share with people, how to get through that myth and how to really crush those fear barriers, because it's the biggest stopper. And there's so many types. Right, and I know you just said fear barrier. Yes. What does that mean? So I consider the fear barrier, whatever that is. Now, the fear of success, the fear of failure, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the darkness, and the two fears that I believe map to everything for everyone somewhere along the line. And when you can conquer these two fears, you got the golden egg, is the fear of change and the fear of what other people think. When you can capture those two, you got the golden key, I believe. So fear barriers, I believe that they are the ultimate bully in life. And how do you stop a bully? You step up. And I teach people how to get your lunch money back from that bully.
That's a great analogy. That is an awesome analogy.
Thank you.
So how is it that you teach? Because really, like you said, fear, as you're calling it, it's a myth. So how do you even tackle something like that?
Well, there's a four-step process that I was taught years ago, and for me, I've applied this for the last 17 years when I was introduced to it, and just keep growing. Personal development, I believe, is a lot like physical development. You can't go to the gym once a week, eat clean once a day, and expect it to be in shape. And the same thing with personal development. It needs to become a lifestyle for real, solid change. So I have what's called the Bully Buster. Okay. All right? It's a four-step process that's going to be applicable instantly. Simple, but not always easy. So the first step in that is identifying that goal, that destination. And I always say it has to have the dynamic duo. It has to scare you and excite you at the same time, or it's not big enough. Right? Because that's how we're built as human beings. We're built to grow, evolve, and move forward. Second step is, what is the your why? I believe that everything is based upon your why. And when your why becomes big enough, it's going to pull you through those fear barriers. And when your why becomes bigger than you, you become unstoppable. Third step is the action. What are you doing? Are you moving forward or backwards? What action are you taking? You need to evaluate and be honest. Fourth step is what I call the game changer. It's the most underutilized, misunderstood step in our life, but we use it every single day, whether we realize it or not, and it's our self-talk. What are we telling ourselves on a daily basis? Is it uplifting? Is it strengthening? Is it moving us forward? Or is it moving us backwards? And most people, if you audit your day and you're being honest, it's going to move them back. And then what that does is that leaves us with the results, the reality, which is what I believe your self-image. And I believe you could build your self-image up, you could tear it down, but you cannot outperform it.
That makes, everything you're saying makes sense, but it's about that third step. It's about the action. It's about taking what we're hearing. It's what we're hearing and doing something about it. And a lot of people actually also follow you on your Monster Motivator TV. And do you kind of cover all of this?
It's what it's about. You know, I tell people, listen, you have a product, or you have a business, or you have something that you want to promote, but let's get them behind that black curtain. They want to know who you are. Once you can share that story and connect, everything else follows. And I have so many people, I know we were talking before we went on, so many people are terrified because of their story. And I want to help change that paradigm, that mindset, and say, your story's not about you. See, you were bad enough to make it through to help somebody else, and that's an obligation.
You know, I bet if everybody really thought about everything in their life that they did that was a little scary, that was whatever, once it's gone and passed, you're like, it wasn't that bad. What was I so afraid of?
100%.
Right. So you have to keep that fresh in your mind.
It is. Yeah. It's so amazing. It's so amazing. And again, I know I talked about this earlier, but I believe they all map to those two fears. Yeah.
Now, of course, we were talking about Monster Motivator TV, and then you have the book as well.
I do. It just landed a few weeks ago. Knock out fear in the first round, and it takes you step by step. And I also share a lot of personal stories and my, you know, early on, I'm from the East Coast, and I had a rough paper route. You know, growing up. And so I take you through that. I take you through those struggles. But at the end of the day, I want to leave you with a real practical process to actually take action on.
Well, I love that, Dave. I feel like I can conquer anything. Just sitting here talking to you, I feel like I could do whatever. So I'm going to remind everybody how they can get a hold of the book, how they, of course, can see you online. And kind of like we said, that step 3, taking the action. That's the big one we want everyone to do.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Dave.
Thank you.
Absolutely. To learn more about Dave and get his book, you could log on to davedaleymm.com, or you can also give them a call at 760-500-9646.